Welcome to the Better Together podcast. I'm Justin.
And I'm Bree.
And we are so glad to be back with you guys this week. It's really been a banner week.
To say the least.
Yeah, so I guess to really start things off, I've been sick. Started getting sick yesterday, and I felt really bad yesterday. So I feel a little bit better today. I don't know if my voice sounds funny or not through the podcast stuff, but in person I definitely sound and look a little bit funny right now.
Congested.
Yeah.
Definitely just a little sickly.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I'm glad to be feeling better, thankful for it. But that means that I'm probably not going to be driving the show too much today. And I think I'm going to hand those reins over to Bree a little bit because I'm not sure how long I can talk without coughing.
So enjoy the ride. Who knows how this is going to go. Yeah. So first, I do want to hear what you were going to say to me about the Walmart products.
Okay, so I saw a short today about Walmart stuff, and they were saying like that you should look at the ingredients from your great value products. Which I guess, really we should look at the ingredients for anything that we buy probably. Is not a bad idea. But one of the examples was maple syrup that was blueberry flavored. Great value brand. And on the back of it, it said, may contain anchovies.
Next time I go to Walmart, I'm going to have to look at that.
Yeah. I meant to look and see if we had any great value stuff, and I forgot. But the other one that they referenced was great value marshmallows, like the small bite-sized ones. And that one said it may contain tilapia. Yeah, I don't know.
That's so weird. On that same line of things, again, everyone should be watching the labels and ingredients on the products that they buy, because now not only have they, released that people can sell engineered meat, but it's also in certain products now, like Hellmann's mayonnaise says may contain bioengineered products.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to buy the more expensive mayonnaise and still get fake stuff with it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that turns out, I guess we're not going down a happy trail with this podcast too much anyways, but man.
That's just, a couple odd things in the get-go.
Well, that does, seriously though, we did the no processed food for a while. And definitely I want to go back on that because I didn't even have allergies in the first half of this year because we were hardcore. We were even pretty much vegetarian for a while, and not I don't blah, blah, blah. To be perfectly honest with you, our air conditioner went out.
Yep.
And we said we can afford to fix this, but we also don't want to fill it. And so what can we do? Well, one, I can work a ton of overtime. And two, we can be very specific and very cheap about the things that we eat while still eating healthy. Yeah. And not have to feel this, big ticket repair that we're going to have to do. And so we made a sacrifice. But through that whole time, the whole spring, I didn't have any allergy problems.
Yeah.
Which is not normal. And none of us did.
Yeah. And our son, who, God love his little heart, he just has the worst allergies ever. But God is good, and all the glory to him. Oliver has not had to take any allergy medicine this year. Yeah, and
for the first 3 years of his life, it was constant. But I don't think that was just vegetables. And
we did local honey, a whole bunch of stuff. But if allergies are going to hit anyone, they're going to hit him.
Oh yeah,
and he didn't have a problem.
And then I was trying to think about what I was going to say. We were very careful on macros and things too. So we were mindful of protein and getting the right nutrients and not just eating, a bunch of vegetables, because you got to be mindful when you do something like that.
Yeah.
But we were
some really good food.
Yeah. But even before that, we did the no processed food, and we were still eating real meat at that point. And I just felt so much better. So we're definitely, because what happened was we went on vacation.
Yeah.
And then I did the Whole30, which was cool. But then the Whole30 was no grains, no potatoes and stuff.
And we really like potatoes.
I really like potatoes.
I know. Our whole household.
But
Justin specifically.
But so when you can't have anything, you can't have rice, you can't have this, you can't have that. So it's like it was a fun experience, and I was able to get through it. But then right after I got off of it was my birthday, and then we went a little crazy for my birthday, and my birthday crazy turned into like a month of crazy.
And then it was Oliver's birthday.
Yeah, and now it's almost October, and it's like we've got to change things. And like even last year, we were still not eating like great food. Like we were still like we were eating quality food, but we weren't eating things that you would consider like healthy out the gate.
Yeah,
like we would make a pie. But it was fully from scratch, and it was from like real flour, not the cheap baking. You would know more about that than I do.
It's just clean ingredients. You look on the ingredients and it says whole wheat flour, and it's none of the enriched stuff where they've added in things
like chalk,
and who
basically.
knows what. Yeah, it's just pure flour.
But we were eating bread. We were eating like mashed potatoes, butter, like
lots of butter.
But we still like we got thinned down a little bit. It affected like our weight, affected the way that you felt, and it was just about eating clean because so much stuff has chemicals in it. I did not think this is where we were going to go.
Yeah, along this line though, you kind of saw that picture of the very colorful fish.
Yeah.
that was caught. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that fish.
I'm on the edge of my couch.
So, in Alaska, this guy caught that very colorful fish, and if you look it up, you can say like man catches fish from Dr. Seuss book, and that should pull up the article.
That's funny.
But back in August, old Joe went out fishing, and he found a greenling with super vibrant colors.
Yeah.
And like scientists know that.
No, you need to be specific though. You're saying super vibrant colors. For people who aren't actually going to look this up, it's not just a colorful fish.
So this is a red fish with blue flesh.
With blue meat.
Yeah.
Like he cut the fish open, and like what you would fillet to eat a fish,
it's
the
like
meat
sky
was blue. And normally a fish like this would be in the like deep red or maybe even like a light pinkish orange color.
Yeah.
But this is like blue. It's like rocket pop blue.
Blue.
It almost looks like somebody messed with the fish.
Yeah. Apparently it could be a result of UV radiation, diets, or genetics.
So you're saying it could be anything.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. But the pigment is called biliverdin, and they know where the blue pigment comes from, but they're not sure why the fish produce it.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't think I would eat that one.
Oh, he did, and he said it was delicious.
That's weird.
Yep.
So I've been at the ocean before, and this is kind of gross, but like we were at the docks one time in Murrells Inlet, which is in South Carolina, and they come back in from like doing the charter fishing and stuff, and they'll clean the fish right there at the dock, on the edge of the boat or whatever. And the guy was cleaning it, and he cuts it open, and there's all kinds of like worms in it.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so they're just like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the guide says, he's like, yeah, you can't eat this. And so like he throws the whole thing into the water. I think he flipped it over to see if it was on both sides. I'm like, no, there's no way.
Yeah, just no. I'm out. Even more reason for me to not eat fish.
Well, anything can happen like that. Like that's why they say, like people who deer hunt, like sometimes they'll get a bad deer, which would really stink, right? Because you only get so many tags. It's like you can only
tag the one that.
Yeah, if you're not, even if you can't eat it, I'm pretty sure it takes one of your. I don't know that for sure, but I would imagine so. I think it's
we
just
don't hunt, so
how many deer you take. But like, I don't know. I just think that's probably the way that it is. Even think about like in some places where they hunt like moose or elk. I think here they actually have an elk lottery in Tennessee where you can win to get to go do it. But then think if you got a bad elk.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That just stinks. Right.
Yeah.
That makes for a bad trip.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you paid a bunch of money to go fishing with this guy, and you're like, we're gonna get this fresh fish, and we're gonna take it to like, cause like at the ocean, I don't know if you know this or not, but like at the ocean, you can go fishing and catch your own fish, and then take it to a restaurant, and the restaurant you can pay the restaurant to cook the fish for you. I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah.
But you can take it to a lot of seafood restaurants.
Hope you get a good discount.
I don't know. I doubt it. And they won't process it because that person on the boat's already processed it. But then they'll cook it however you want it. As long as I guess whatever they're able.
Yeah. That's just interesting to me. But the bright blue meat of a fish just absolutely stood out, and I had to share that with you.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's always an animal thing. Like
yeah.
The weird. Well, I mean, we had the food thing, but like all the weird news that one of us brings when we like search for it is always like something to do with an animal.
Yeah. Well, we like animals, so
I think animals just do weird stuff.
Yeah, they do. And those are the articles that stick out to us when we're searching because we're like, oh, well, what's that critter doing?
Well, sometimes when you go on those websites of like weird news or whatever, it's like the ones that are fun to talk about are the animals because some of the stuff is just like, that's not really that funny.
Yeah. It's more like sad.
Yeah. It's like sometimes we've watched those fail army videos and I go through spells where it's like some of the stuff's funny, but then some of it's just like sad. You know, like you feel bad for these people. It's not something you can just sit there and laugh at because it wasn't on purpose.
They didn't mean to slide down the stairs because they were covered in black ice.
Like when an influencer does something dumb, like that's kind of funny to me. But then when somebody just gets hurt, like because they didn't realize that their driveway was frozen, it's like, well, that's sad. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to watch and laugh at that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, just imagine if that was you,
right?
Like, well, I guess maybe if you submitted it to that stuff, maybe you're getting a little something.
Well, I mean, like, and that's the thing too. Like, you can always. I don't know if you're getting anything. It's not like America's Funniest Home Videos or anything, but I think sometimes. Well, there's two ways it happens, right? Either somebody else has the clip of you and they share it with somebody else, or like you just are ready to laugh at yourself.
I think it would take a good long minute for me to be able to laugh at myself.
It depends on what it was.
Like that. How bad did I get hurt?
Yeah. Yeah, that would suck.
Oh, goodness gracious. So we talked about you being sick and all this weird animal stuff, but we've also not discussed Oliver and his newest thing. So I don't know if everyone's kid is like this or not, but if Oliver has a Band-Aid on his person anywhere, that appendage is not able to be used. So he stubbed his toe, ripped a chunk off of his toenail, bled a little. He needed a Band-Aid. And poor kid is hobbling around just on one foot. He's clutching onto everything, falling over, jumping, all just because he's trying not to use his foot. And, like, it's the tip of his big toe.
It's nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing.
But it's not just this instance. Like, anytime that the kid gets hurt, like, and it's not even hurt. It's like anytime, like you said, if he has a Band-Aid, like he gets a paper cut, doesn't even bleed, and he's like, I need a Band-Aid, and then he refuses to use that hand
like it can't
for the
do
rest
anything
of time
until the Band-Aid is gone, and then magically he's healed.
Yeah, no, I'm good. It's like, buddy, I don't understand, you know?
I have laughed so much today over this. I went to go lay him down for a nap. And he's like, no, my foot has to hang off. I need to be on the couch. My foot has to hang off because of my boo-boo. Oh, no. I'm like, dude, look, you're in a toddler bed. You can hang your foot off the edge right here. It's totally fine. He's like, no, the blanket can't be on it, but I'm cold. I need the blanket on it. I'm like doubled over laughing at the hysterics going on over this poor kid and his toe.
Yeah.
If y'all don't have kids, I highly suggest them. They're quite hilarious.
They're definitely entertaining, but I don't know if that's the reason that I would have them. It's going to be a lot more that comes with that.
Yes, but they're quite funny. If you don't want to go down that route, just find a kid and hang around. You know, a friend's kid, not just a random kid.
Yeah. Don't go after random kids. That'd be bad.
You might get arrested for that. But yeah.
You can talk about the floor? That was the real. When I say the banner week, it's not just about being sick.
Not about being sick.
A big part of it has to do with our floor.
The kid having his stuff. But so, what was it? Friday night, I said, "Hey, the floor in here feels kind of."
I don't think it was Friday. I think it was like Sunday or Monday because you messed
with
it.
Well, I called Monday, so I looked at it Sunday because I gave in. So maybe it was Saturday. That I was like, hey, this feels kind of squishy, and then it kept bugging me. So Sunday night, I pulled it up. I pulled up a tile in our half bath.
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, it was soaking wet under there. Oh my gosh. So Monday, I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, guys, what do I do and all this? And they're like, call your insurance, submit a claim. It'll be fine. Just get it fixed. I'm like, is that something they cover?
I didn't realize that. Like, I thought that would be considered like negligence or something because you didn't notice the leak and then it got severe or whatever. Like, I didn't realize that was a thing.
This is our first time owning a home and needing homeowners insurance and being able to cover stuff like being able to and needing to.
Outside of like my parents' roof getting wore or whatever, I don't remember them ever making a claim on their insurance.
Mm-hmm. Also slightly curious if maybe we could have put the air conditioner on a claim.
No, that doesn't work. That's just
because the guy mentioned something about an air conditioner. He was like, yeah, if the guy gets under there and he says, oh yeah, you need a new air conditioner too. No. Like, well, we already got a new one covered there.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked though. I don't think things like that are covered, like your air conditioner and your water heater.
But so I called them and I pulled up more tiles just to see the extent of the damage. The whole half bath is just ruined.
And it's probably more than that.
Yep. It probably goes to both sides.
It's a very small half bathroom because it's like in our...
It's a closet.
It's in our master bedroom. I mean, basically.
Yep.
It's just big enough to like have a toilet and to have a sink and vanity. So, yeah, I think it's gone on both sides of the wall.
So that means new flooring in the full bath, in the half bath, and probably our bedroom.
Yeah, and hopefully not the hallway.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yep.
I think, so as it gets closer to the vanity, it's more dry. So I think that part should be fine. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if we're going to end up having to rip out that vanity and all that. Just like completely gut it.
If all this happens, like... The good news, in my opinion, is like, one, that toilet is super old.
Yeah.
And so, like, we know obviously the toilet's not the problem because it's the wax seal at the bottom or whatever is leaking. So we know it's not the toilet, but might as well replace the toilet because it has its own issues. Mm-hmm. And then that bathroom didn't have real tile. Like you said, it had peel and stick tile. Mm-hmm. So then we can probably put real tile down. Even if the insurance doesn't cover it, it can't cost that much more for somewhere that small. Mm-hmm. And then if we have to replace the vanity, that vanity's ugly anyways.
Yeah.
And then if it affects the whole master bathroom, we need a new shower anyway.
Yep.
We need a new vanity in there anyways because that one's ugly. Mm-hmm. And the countertop's ugly. And it's just things that I'm like...
This really stinks, but I mean, it could give us the opportunity to...
Yeah, but I'm saying like the stuff that we need to fix anyway are things that's like... Nowadays, when you look at vanities, very few of them go like all the way to the floor. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are on legs. But then ours, the tile... doesn't go all the way under them.
Yeah.
So like that would be weird. But if you're having to rip everything up and put everything back down, then it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of work that we'll be able to get done, but it just sucks whenever something like that happens.
Yeah. Like all that happened, and then Justin got sick,
but then we were afraid like, am I sick because of the mold?
Yeah.
Or we have mold poisoning, which is not the case, thankfully.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what goes through your head in that moment. Is like, oh no, is this the cause of, this change?
Yeah, because, you rip up all those tiles and then you spread the mold spores and stuff because there's obviously some mold from where it's soaking wet under there.
I think it's not moldy yet. I think it's just rotten because mold would take a little bit of time.
I think there's some mold.
I looked at it. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. But I don't know.
But we were assured that it should be fine. And if we felt the need to, then we could keep the door closed, which we are doing, and then like shove towels up against it to keep.
But there's no vent in there.
There's no vents, nothing in there, which again, that's probably a problem and would be amended.
I don't think that's such a small room. It's like a closet, so you don't really need a vent in there. Yeah. Now, a ceiling vent wouldn't be the worst thing, but that's...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I wouldn't worry about it.
So. But yeah, so we're dealing with that, and like we had to have I had to call the insurance, submit the claim, do all that jazz, and then had to wait 2 days for the adjuster to call me. So...
That's pretty normal, though.
Yeah. So wait 2 days, the adjuster calls, and then I have to wait, 2-3 more days until our repairman can come out here and do that, which, again, totally understandable because, these people are just doing their things all the time.
Yeah, well, the repair guy's somebody that we know, and that's why we want to use them. And so, we wouldn't care how long it takes for that process.
We're
when
totally
he's also
happy
saying
to
he's going to try to work us in, which is nice, but I'm not really too pushy on that.
Yeah, and just...
But it's just like all things at one time. Oh, and then the door lock in the car is messed up. So that's fun. I'm going to have to take the door panel off and try to replace the lock mechanism on one of our cars. That's a fun time.
See, that's a Justin problem. He can fix that.
Yeah, that was a sad thing. Problem. But it's like, I can handle this. This is something that I can manage.
Yeah. But ripping out subfloor and like, dear Lord, please don't let it like be on any of the support beams or anything like that. Need issues there. But I mean, the work can be done, I guess. But
anything can be fixed. It's just a pain. That should be fine. Because you got the differences like OSB versus like actual wood. Yeah. So it shouldn't be a big deal. So
we'll just have to see what all that entails. So follow along and see what the damage is.
Yeah. But we had our mix of good news this week too. We got my shirt.
Yeah.
Which is
That was so exciting. I was the first to wear it.
Yeah, I custom made a shirt for the stuff. It's got the More God, Less Me logo on it. Mm-hmm. And then the back, it's got our city name, and it says, as in our city, or in our city as it is in heaven. I saw like another place do that. It was like some church in San Diego had done that. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do that. And then now we're going to make a bunch of different shirts, I feel like. And not like to sell, because we realized that we're nowhere near that kind of place yet. Yeah. And not even sure if we'd ever really want to do that. Mm-hmm. But just as like a walking billboard. And I've got another video coming out about that soon.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like my mindset was like, why am I not advertising my faith and like giving an opportunity? Because we make up all these things as Christians in our minds of like, well, as long as I'm a Christian and as long as I'm around these people, they'll realize that I'm a Christian and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, no. Like when you're at the grocery store and you go to check out, yes, you smiled and you were sweet to the person checking you out, but they don't know you're a Christian.
Yeah.
It's not like it comes across unless you said like, Jesus loves you, or God bless whenever you walked out of there.
Yeah.
And then by that point, you're leaving, so it's not like they're going to stop you. Mm-hmm. But if you walk up, they talk to you about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So you walk in there with a shirt that says, like, need prayer, or more God, less me, and it's a conversation starter. It's not about looking religious or looking pious. I've had those allegations in the past just about carrying a Bible with me, and the way that can spur conversation. But
it's all about breaking the ice and being able to share the word.
If we are supposed to be the light to the world, then that means that we're supposed to be noticeable in some way. Mm-hmm. Like we shouldn't be just somebody else who fits into the crowd as Christians. We should stand out and be able to shine that light to all people. And that means taking advantage of everything we can to potentially save some. Mm-hmm. You know?
Now, in all of this T-shirt talk, I do think that we should get ones that say better together. And yours says better, mine says together.
That would be kind of funny. But then we have to make sure we sit on the right sides, or otherwise we're together better. Which is also a good. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If somebody wanted to rip off our podcast, there you go. That's your name.
But I just think it would be cute, and as someone who likes to make their family match, it's the perfect opportunity for me to do so.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, you can make the shirts pretty cheap. I don't mind sharing. Do you mind sharing? Mm-mm. It was $25. Total.
Yeah, and that's with shipping and tax.
Yep. It's a whole shabam.
And it was from like Canva?
Yeah, Canva. You just go on there, you design your whole little thing.
You have to create an account, and they have a paid version, but we only use the free, and that's like how we've done all of our podcasts and stuff. Like all the graphics. All the graphics you see on any of our platforms, that's where they came from. And that's been super easy. It's a pain when the stuff you want to use is for the paid version and you're only using the free version, but it's like whatever.
Yeah. We may at some point look into doing the paid version, but I mean, right now we've got access to pretty much everything we need.
Yeah.
There's things that would be nice, but whatever. But yeah, we picked, go design a shirt. You get to pick what's on the front, what's on the back. You get to see the preview. It was a really fun process overall. I mean, I do wish there was more colored shirts available, like different colors.
Yeah, I just didn't realize, though, like, it was so cheap to make a shirt. Yeah. Now, because I've looked into stuff like that a long time ago. I mean, like, or you could find a cheap one that was like $20 or something.
Yeah, but then it's not like
like we've made shirts in the past, and it was like, this is not a great shirt, but this shirt's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that one's it's pretty top notch quality.
I still think we'll probably have to like flip it inside out to wash it though.
Yeah, just be safe. And then no drying. Drying is a lot of the problem when it comes to shirts fading.
Yeah.
But I hardly dry any of my clothes. Anyways. Don't want that shrinkage. Can't handle that.
Not when you're 6'6".
Nope. And not when you're trying to keep your skirts and dresses at a certain length.
Yeah.
Because that's just not comfortable for me otherwise.
She's not 6'6".
No.
But I am.
I'm 5'2".
It's a pretty big gap.
Yep.
But that's not the only thing that came this week.
Yes. We have a brand new addition to the household.
Uh-huh.
That couch.
Sounds weird. Yeah.
A beautiful green couch. And this is a very bold choice for us, but I am in love.
Yeah, I like it a lot. My idea was that the point of it was for this podcast. And so saying that is that like we record most of the time on the couch anyways, because it's just more comfortable. And moving forward, we want to do it like a video podcast.
Yeah.
And so the plan would be that we are just on the couch, camera, and so like the background and stuff is kind of like the couch and the living room and everything that we've already got.
Yeah, and it looks nice. The old couch is like 8+ years old. It's falling apart.
It's seen its days.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I bought it, it was expensive, but it was on the cheap end of couches.
Yeah.
So it's lived its life.
And I never liked that the pillows were not attached on any of it.
Just so you know, for this one, they all Velcro.
Well, that's good enough. If those would have Velcroed, it would have been fine in that other couch. We still have the other couch in our living room. The plan had been to do the video podcast when the couch came. But that plan was made before I was sick.
Yes.
And so I was like, I'm not dealing with it. And what's funny is like the Tuesday before I got sick, like
you felt great.
You were
pumped. You did all the things.
I did a podcast, 2 videos, and like I don't even know how many shorts.
Yeah.
Just all came at one time. I was flowing in the spirit, and it was a blast. But then I got sick, and it was like, okay, we
everything comes
pump the brakes.
And what was funny is Monday you were like, I'm tired. I just needed like a calm day. I need to rest. So we did. And then Tuesday you were like, yes, I'm hitting the ground running. I'm going to go, get all this done. And then Wednesday hit and you were down.
What's that struggle is like, what's something I've struggled with forever? I've always wanted to be busy in the sense of like have something to work on kind of like all the time. And like this ministry, I don't think there's really another term that you could use for it.
Yeah.
Has enabled me to be that way and to fulfill that desire. But at the same time, like, it's also dangerous to be in that place because then I'm like, I've got to constantly either be studying or be editing or be recording or like have something to say. And so like, I was really in that place Monday of like, I just don't want to do anything.
Yeah. And I think it did you well because...
I mean, it worked out because then Tuesday I came out like a rocket.
Yep. So. And then it allowed you to be sick on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And start feeling better today so that way we can get this out. And you've done some other work and stuff, but we've had it pretty chill today.
Yeah, I took some time to edit the shorts from Tuesday, and then now obviously we're recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Probably at least get the edit ready tonight and then let you export tomorrow, but that's stuff that people don't care about.
Nope. But back to this couch. So I was totally convinced that it was not going to come today.
Yeah, I was talking about that at work because this I don't even remember what all we've ordered from Wayfair.
It's like the second or third.
Yeah, this is not the first thing that we've ordered from Wayfair, but every time the shipping happens the same way.
Yep. Every time. Like you wait and wait and wait for it to actually ship. It takes for a good amount of time, more than you would think. And then next thing you know, it's here.
Yeah, so we ordered it on Saturday. And it said like estimated delivery Tuesday through Thursday. Well, like we're waiting, and it doesn't ship, and then all of a sudden it ships yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. So like, so it shipped on. We were waiting for it, and we're thinking like, well, by the time you get to Tuesday, there's no way that it's actually going to come Thursday if it's not shipped yet. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden Wednesday we get the notification that it shipped, and it was here today, and it came from New Jersey. So it came all the way down the country to Tennessee in one day.
Yeah, they drove it straight to Knoxville. And then distributed from there because that's the big hub.
Like Amazon brags about having fast shipping, and I mean they're getting your stuff in a smaller window maybe, but from the time they ship it to the time they get it to you, Wayfair is ridiculous.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And I don't know if maybe that's like a FedEx thing because I believe everything has come via FedEx from them. But like it's absolutely astounding. In that though, so this lady drops off this giant box. Me and Oliver here by ourselves. I lug this giant box in to the house by myself and put it all together. No problem. It was so easy.
You sound like a Wayfair commercial. So to do something that doesn't benefit them greatly, the only thing that is funny to me about the whole process is that we bought it, and then the next day it went up like, I don't remember, like $40 something.
Yeah, and then it went up more.
Oh, it's up more now?
Yeah. It's up like $100 from where we paid.
That's insane. Because I kind of wanted to buy a second one. And maybe this is God saying, like, don't do that right now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Wayfair is their prices vary so much. Like, sometimes things will go up or down, and then, like, their emails are evil, too. Yeah. You got to work hard to get their emails gone. But, like, as far as, like, quality's concerned, I mean, it's a nice couch. And it's not an expensive couch. It was, like, $300 and something. Yeah. That's what we wanted. We have a young child. We have a dog. We have a cat. Like, it doesn't matter what we buy. It's going to get messed up. Yep. And we might as well buy something that's relatively cheap that we're not going to care about. Because you could go, I mean, to get a nice couch, what, like over $1,000?
Yeah, easy.
And probably a lot more than $1,000. I don't know, like $1,500 probably.
Like the Big Lots couches are about, getting close to $1,000.
That's true. Like the one we were looking at, Big Lots, was like $700 was the cheapest one. So like if you go to like a nice furniture store, you're going to get like real leather or whatever. But at the same time, it's going to be so expensive that like you're going to treasure it. Yeah. Right? Where your money is where your heart is. My heart was going to be in that couch, and I was going to be angry when somebody messed up. And still, I won't be happy if something happens to this one quickly. Yeah. But like I would call it pleather. Yeah. Now it's vegan leather.
Or this one just was listed as faux leather.
I looked it up again. It said vegan now. Oh. Yeah. Maybe that's why they charged more. Maybe. Because now they're vegan leather. But our other couch had the same kind of material on it. And except from where like the cat decided to be rotten on the arm at one place, like even after all the time that we've used it, it's pretty good. Now it's only the arms and stuff, but like I've leaned up against that side of it a ton. Yeah. And you can't even tell. So
like the wear and tear is in the supports for the cushions.
Yeah, on that one. Yeah. Yeah, and that was from like American Freight or something like that. But that all is to say is just like, it's a pretty decent couch for what it is. I'm happy with it. I would buy another one, but I'm going to wait until they go back down if I do decide to do that.
Yeah, but it was the base piece, the back piece, 2 arms and all the cushions. And
I kind of wondered about that. So like it had 2 pieces that went together, like big pieces that went together. Huh. Yeah.
The base piece and then the back here. But I put all the legs on first.
Yeah, I thought it would just be like put the legs on and maybe the cushions if they weren't fully attached.
So the arms and the back slide into brackets.
Ah.
So like the only thing I had to screw in were the legs. Everything else is just held together with brackets.
That's nice. Yeah. I'm surprisingly happy with it. It is funny, like they do get you on the internet though, because like it looked really good in pictures, and it was a little darker. I feel like a little bit darker green. But maybe it's just because you don't turn the brightness up on your phone. Yeah. But, like, in the end, I'm happy with it. But it does have that, like, hotel, hospital couch vibe, just a little bit.
I think it's the pleather, the full pleather.
Well, and it's green. Yeah. I don't think it looks bad, and it fits the rest of our living room. And, like, there's other things that we want to do behind us here that'll just tie everything in and make everything look good. And, like, it's just super comfortable, though. Yeah. To sit in. It's especially when you've been sitting on that couch forever.
Yeah, you just sink into that one. Yeah. Like, it's so bad.
And also, like, our other one was an L-shaped couch. I don't know if we said that or not, but it just was not conductive to, like, when people would come over. Because nobody wants to, like, lay out on your couch. Well, we had one group of friends that were weird like that. But then most everybody that's came to our house doesn't just want to lay out. So it's always kind of awkward for somebody to, like, find a seat. But now this is just like a standard couch. So I think it works out well.
Yeah. And it's like, what, 10 inches or more shorter than our other couch? But I don't feel it.
I don't feel it because of the L being not there. And it fits the space better.
Yes.
Our other couch was a touch too big anyways.
Yeah. It pushed.
And you got to think, those arms are twice the size of these arms.
Yeah.
And so that's you're talking about maybe 4 to 6 inches that you just lost in arms, which I don't need anyway.
Well, in the old couch, you would kind of get stuck sitting in between the L cushion and then the first normal cushion because of where the hole is. You kind of fall into that. So then there's this huge gap in between you and the armrest.
Yeah.
So then, like, the couch just feels so much smaller when someone else comes to sit on it.
And I don't feel as lazy sitting here because, like, I don't have to have my legs up and it's still comfortable. Because, like, when you have the L, you want to lay out on it. Just to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. It's
like if you have a footrest. Like, if you're in a recliner, very few people sit down in a recliner and don't open it. Right? Or, like, if there's a footrest in front of a chair and you sit down in it, you're probably going to put your feet up.
Yep.
Right. And so, like, this, you just don't have as much of that option, which is kind of sad, but also better for you anyway, right?
Well, so for you, like, your feet just touch the ground, like your legs fit on here quite comfortably and whatnot. Me, I still can't touch the ground.
Yeah, that's shocking to me.
So I'm still going to sit with my feet up on the couch and all that and cuddle in, I guess, to be comfortable, because sitting with my legs hanging off is just not the most comfortable after a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't affect me any. I thought the back might be a little too short for you, but it seems to be doing pretty good.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah,
I like where I can put my arm up on the side. This is all great when we're not showing it on video. Hopefully next week will be on video.
Lord willing.
The only limiting factor to that is that we either have to take a break in the middle and restart the camera, because we have a really nice Canon camera, but almost every Canon camera can only record for 30 minutes. And so we're already at 38 minutes almost on recording right now. So that's not going to really work. And honestly, we jumped from like 20 to 30. I was like, how are we going to get any time out of this podcast? And all of a sudden we're at almost 40 minutes. But it's going to shorten our podcast episodes for a little while, but we'll just have to get me that new camera soon, and then it'll work out.
We'll talk after the bathroom renovations.
We'll talk after this about, like, because there's things that they don't know, but, like, that we need to get through still. But I'm going, like, full media empire throughout the whole process. I got plans, and a lot of them involve being online. Because that's where most people are.
Yeah.
There's so many levels of ministry, and I want to be in a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, we should be putting as much online as possible. If you think about, like, the Apostle Paul, the guy was constantly writing letters because that was the only way to get his message to people who weren't where he was. But you can't tell. He would have a live show every day.
So on this topic, I saw a reel today. And this guy, something happens, whatever, and he goes to heaven. Well, he gets there and he's seeing all the apostles. And it gets to Paul. And he was like, oh, hey, what time are you from? And the guy's like, 2023. He's like, oh, you have the internet. Oh, my gosh, you must have reached so many people. That's so amazing. And the guy's like, I just watched cat memes.
I knew it was going to be cat videos. It's always cat videos. And that's the truth, though. Is like that would have been his whole bread and butter. I don't think he would have, not gone to the temple or not gone to this place or that place and traveled to be with, because he's the one that says, let us not neglect our meeting together as the end times draw near. But at the same time, I think he would have used every means possible. So you've got him, like, he just got done talking to those people. He probably goes, takes a break. We all got to eat. We all got to, and also you have to fill yourself back up with God. So you got to, be time in God's word.
Yeah. You pour out so much, you have to refill.
Yeah. So you got to be able to refill. But I think that like every day he probably would have had a live stream.
Yeah.
You know, like, and think about like AMAs with Paul. You know, Ask Me Anything with the Apostle Paul would have been awesome. So like, what is the thorn in your flesh, bro?
Yeah. Tell me more.
Like, you got to think people asked him stuff like that. Or like, did you, scales? What do you mean scales fell from your eyes? You know?
Like, was it like fish scales? Or
what song were you singing when you were chained in the prison and God moved and changed everything?
Yeah, because we need to sing that song in church.
Apparently that's the one we need, is because it's causing earthquakes and jail cells to pop open. It's a song that you can sing in your worst situation too, because that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty bleak moment.
I'm sick and the floor's rotten, but we think we've got it bad. Paul was getting beat and he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. That's the thing. Is like we're taking the floor in stride, taking sickness. I have a thing about that, and I don't want to go like forever on this podcast, but like we take all this stuff, and a lot of times we're like, "Why, God? Why have you done this to me? Why am I sick? Or why is the floor rotten?
Why is this happening to me?
Why did my alarm go off? God, do I have to be late to work today?" And it's like, pump the brakes. Mm-hmm. It's not a good time.
Yep.
My Holy Ghost kicked in at 40 minutes into the podcast. It's not a good time. It's not like a lot of fun or whatever. But one, God can work all things for the better. Mm-hmm. And two, every bad thing that befalls you isn't because like God's punishing you or God's mad at you or anything like that. Like sin is in the world, and sin is the reason that bad is in the world, right? And so we should expect to face bad things and not question God over them, but just keep pushing. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, he was in jail for preaching the gospel. Mm-hmm. And yet,
he could have been like, "Why, Lord?
Yeah,
I'm doing your word."
And what would have happened?
Nothing.
God wouldn't have moved.
He would have been a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face.
Yes. The jailer would have not been saved. His family wouldn't have been saved. And they would have just sulked and cried. And then they would have went on their way. And that would have been less people in the kingdom.
Yep.
Right? So because what we do has an impact. We shouldn't be down in every situation. We should try to look for God's purpose. And it's not easy.
No.
We may not know the purpose in it until heaven. Yeah. We may not even know it there because we're not going to care.
Yeah.
Once you make it to heaven, you're not going to be like, so why, God?
Why did the door break and the floor break and I got sick and why?
Yeah. Why did this befall me? You know, why did I have to have this happen?
You're just going to be so excited to make it.
If it happened, it probably happened for a reason.
Yep.
You know, like it's not a bad thing. And you just got to take things in stride. Mm-hmm. The floor sucks. But hey, we might get something better out of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick. And God showed me something in that. Because I was thinking about it yesterday when I was at work. Mm-hmm. And I could tell, like, I just don't feel like myself. Especially, you know, myself in Christ. Where, like, you've got that joy unexpressible and things like that. And it's not that I was, like, mourning and moping around. But, like, when you're sick, I had a migraine. I've got some congestion. I was having some stomach problems.
You just feel like a dreary day.
Yeah, you got the dreary wearies. And you're walking around and you just don't feel good. You're not smiley as you normally are. And it's not like you're upset. It's just you don't have the energy.
Yeah.
But what we have to realize is in a lot of ways, that's how lost people are walking around all the time. Mm-hmm. Because as Christians, we have God's peace. Mm-hmm. We have eternal hope in our salvation and our resurrection to heaven. We have joy unspeakable, things that we can't even explain. Joy unspeakable, that whole statement, what it's really saying is you have joy that you can't explain. Mm-hmm. So you can have your floor rotten and it's not like, oh, this is the end of the world.
Yeah.
Or you can have things happen in your life and you don't look at them as this is the worst thing because you trust in God. It's a joy and a peace that comes from God. But the world doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. And it's like being sick and like walking around and just being like less than normal, feeling drained. That's the same way people feel when they're depressed. Yeah. When they're anxious. You know, like these people are walking around and they put a front on. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to put a front on when you're sick in sin versus sick in the flesh. Yeah. Because when you're sick in the flesh, like all your energy is fully zapped from your body. But these people will put on a front and stuff like that, but they're just not happy. Mm-hmm. You know, there's sorrow, there's heartbreak. Yeah. And that's why they're turning to things of the world because they think they're going to find peace, hope, and joy. And the Bible says that the reason that Moses left Egypt was because he wasn't happy with the fleeting pleasures of sin. Yeah. He didn't want to do that because sin only offers you peace, joy, hope, or anything like that for a moment.
Yeah, it's temporary.
And then it's followed by more regret. Mm-hmm. You know, like think about COVID, right? Okay, when we had COVID, you experienced regret, right? Yeah. Because the reason that we had COVID the first time was because we were so tired of being locked away from people that we went on a trip with some people, not a trip, but like a hike with some people, and ended up contracting it from that. It's like, man, I regret that decision.
Yeah.
You know, that's how people in the world feel. And like, I mean, we've all sinned even after salvation. Like, you feel regret and things like that. And it's just, it was interesting to really stop and think for a minute of like, I feel like trash right now. And I've not felt like trash, and I don't just mean sick, but like when being lost kind of trash in a while. Because I have something from God. And even when you fall in sin, like you feel sorrow for a moment, but then you're able to repent and God come, and you know, you're reconnected with God.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting. Like we often get so distracted by where we're living that we have a hard time understanding where other people are living. And so being sick was like that eye-opening experience of like, wow, this is how people feel all the time.
Yeah. And the Bible specifically talks about, you know, not being so much in the spirit that you forget the world, and so much of the world that you forget the spirit. Like, it's a balance.
Yeah.
Like, we are supposed to be in this world, but not of this world.
But like, I think that you said balance, and there's a lot of verses that talk about like just balances, I guess. Scales. I'm still sick, so I'm not 100% here. There's scales a lot talked about in the Bible being like the unjust, where they're not balanced correctly. Something's in favor of something else. And I think that there's so many metaphors about that because God's telling us to find balance in our lives. As in, if we spent all of our time praying, then we would never grow in knowledge of God biblically. But if we spend all of our time in the Bible, then we would never grow in God spiritually. And if we only spend our time in the Bible and in prayer, and we don't put that word into action, then that proves nothing. And if we do all those three things, but we never go to anybody else, we've still missed a part of the gospel. We've got to find a balance in the wholeness of what God's word says. Yeah. It's like, if you take, we had the message on the More God Less Me podcast about how you look at people in sin. It's like, obviously we have to look at them as what they are, as sinners, but we have to balance like the sorrow and the upset, you know, the righteous. We have to balance being bothered by sin. Sin should affect us, and it should bother us, and it should bother our spirit. But we have to balance that with being kind, loving, and compassionate. Yeah. We have to find that balance. Like, because if you teeter too far on love and compassion, then you start to excuse sin. Yeah. But if you teeter too far on being outraged by sin, then you start to act in anger and rage. And you have to find that balance, because what we see in the Bible through Jesus and through the apostles, they didn't have unjust scales when it came to how they viewed the lost. They had a balanced scale, and they looked at them and said, yes, these people are doing awful things, but they're in the enemy's trap, and they don't know it, and the only thing that can set them free is Jesus, and Jesus loved them, so I should love them, and I need to be kind. We didn't talk in that podcast about language, I don't think. I can't remember. But the Bible talks about coarse talk. Yeah. And the Bible talks about abusive language. And it talks about being rude, arrogant, and boastful. And we can't do that. Yeah. We can't be rude, arrogant, boastful. We can't use abusive language. Some of the things that we refer to communities that we don't agree with are very abusive. Yes. Even if we say it in a joking manner, you never know who heard you. Yeah. And that can really affect somebody. Yeah. And we need to be mindful of our speech. It's not easy, and we all make many mistakes. James says that the tongue, we've tamed all kinds of animals, but no one's been able to tame the tongue. And so we're all going to say things mistakenly, and we're going to make mistakes in that. But that doesn't mean that we should allow ourselves to make those mistakes. Yeah. We should be mindful and think before we speak, and be just kind to these people. Well, we don't need to make jokes at other people's expenses, especially unchristian, like people that aren't Christians. Like, there's all kinds. I'm a jokester. I love to make a joke at somebody's expense. But, yes, but it's also like, I don't go up to people I don't know. Yeah. You got to have a relationship, and then also you have to make sure they know that you're joking. Yeah. Like, I'm very purposeful if I'm going to joke with you. It may be at your expense a little bit, but you can tell that I'm kidding. Yeah. You know, like, we've got a buddy that just bought a truck. It's an older truck, but it's a King Ranch. And so we were giving him a hard time about it being a King Ranch all day. Yeah. But he knows me, and we all knew we were joking and blah, blah, blah. And I even told him one point, it's like, I just like messing with you, man. Like, it's just fun. But we can't do that to people who aren't saved, because they have a really bad view of the church. Yes. I don't think that there's very many people who are unsaved and have a good view of the church today.
Yeah, if it would be very rare to find one.
Yeah.
If not impossible.
And so we need to do everything we can to reshape that view.
Yeah.
And that means not being rude to them and using abusive language. It's a hindrance to the gospel.
Now, that does also mean when you go out to the restaurants, you need to be nice to your waiter, everyone you come in contact with. You can't go around flipping tables just because your food came out wrong. You need to be nice.
Yeah. There's people that I don't even like to eat with.
You can send it back and get it corrected, but you got to be nice about it. You can't be like, I told you how I wanted my food and it's not right and blah, 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 blah. No.
You remember the person we went to eat with, and we went to a Mexican restaurant, and they ordered a steak. This is people we used to work with.
Yeah.
And he tells them specifically, and not a nice way,
no,
if this isn't cooked exactly how I want it, I will send it back. Before they even brought it.
Yeah.
Like, he ordered it like medium or whatever, and he's like, if this isn't exactly medium, I am going to send it back. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But that guy had a complex anyways.
Yep. Well,
I mean, we all do to some extent. I don't know what his life was, but I'm just saying, it was
I don't know what his beliefs were.
Whoa, I don't want to go eat with you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like eating with people who insult waiters and waitresses because I don't like to eat spit.
Yeah.
And also, that goes into the thing that was like, our pastors told a story before about having a waiter that was in that community that a lot of times Christians don't see eye to eye with. I don't want stuff getting put on my videos, guys, but you can read between the lines. And he was at the restaurant, and we're a very conservative group of Christians. Yes. I just want to put that out there. Yeah. Like, our beliefs, we're apostolic. Our belief system is very, very
we're
conservative.
Very conservative.
But we're conservative to ourselves. You're not holding anybody else to the standard that God has set before you. Anyway, but then these other people were there actively making fun of the waiter for his personal life choices.
Yeah.
And our
his
pastor...
manner of speech as well.
Yeah. The way that this person had chose to manipulate their voice.
Yes.
And so our pastor can hear them, so obviously the waiter hears them. And I think they were Christians of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, it was after church.
They were calling themselves Christians. But they were making fun of this person. It's like, that's never going to win that person to the gospel. It's just not going to work.
And our pastor apologized
for them. Yeah, to that person. Waiter for the behavior of those other people.
And it really touched that person.
Yeah, that's the kind of impact that we should be making in the world, though. And I would like to hear that from any pastors. Like, not just our pastor. But, like, why are we making fun of people? We're supposed to be saving people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Well, it goes into the same thing that we've talked about in the past about, like, servants and, like, the people at church are being taught to be servants. That's what the Bible tells us. And then we want to leave church and go to a restaurant and we expect to be served by the very people we should be serving.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's ridiculous. Why are we acting this way? When we go to a restaurant, we shouldn't look as this is an opportunity for that person to serve us as much as it is an opportunity for us to serve that person.
Yeah.
But we all could grow in a multitude of ways, and I'm definitely not perfect in that. I'm pretty darn kind to people at restaurants, but I can't say I'm very forward in also teaching them about God or anything like that. I could definitely be a lot better.
We're very nice, but we tend to keep to ourselves and have the interaction as a minimum, which
is a problem. We're hoping to grow.
Yes.
I just am not a good talker in person, apparently. I've talked for 53 minutes, so we probably should get ready to wrap this thing up. But
normally in person, I'm the talker. And then I get on here and I'm just like, hey.
Yeah.
What up?
My throat hurts a little bit, but I felt like I just had to keep things moving forward.
I mean, you just took over and kept running. So we'll just make you another cup of hot tea with honey.
Yeah. Every time we do this, I'll just have that hot tea with honey. I could do, several more podcasts.
Yeah.
But, well, I think really, and I don't want to take that, like, getting on the sick thing is what turned me around on this podcast. And that's because I'm sitting here talking about what God showed me through what I was going through. And so there's just like that moment that popped me through and was like, okay, now I have something really fun to talk about. Because the other stuff is sad. Like, being sick's not fun. We can't dwell on it. It's no reason. It's not going to fix it. It's not going to fix the floor to be sad about it. But we can look on them happily, but there's still going to be a little bit of pain. Yeah. I'm not saying that you can go through every season in life, every situation, and have a big smile on your face, because that's not going to be fake. But what we can affect is the way that we dwell on things, mm-hmm. and remembering that we can put all things in the hands of Jesus. Yeah. Don't be anxious about anything, but pray about all things. That's what Paul wrote, and that man definitely did that. He wasn't ever. I don't think I ever see in the Bible where he's anxious. So apparently, praying is able to make a big difference in that.
And we can testify to that in our own personal lives. Your prayer life, if it dwindles a little bit, you start worrying about a whole lot. Yeah. You all prayed up. Everything's fine. It'll all work out. We can get through anything.
It's a lot easier to trust God when you know God and when you talk to God.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder to trust somebody that you don't know.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't trust God because they don't know God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth of it.
That is 1,000%
I'm going to have to write that down for the God Notes podcast. I'm a little light this week.
Yeah, I was like, we need to take note of that. Make something. Yeah.
Definitely got to do something with that one. But it's the truth, though. It's the reason that people don't trust God is because they don't know God. So if you struggle to trust God and you're listening to this podcast and you've made it this long, then the reason that you're struggling is because you need that deeper relationship with God. And so the more that you pray and the more study and the more that you know God and the more that God comes to know you, the deeper that relationship is going to be, and the more you're able to give things to God and not try to hold on and steer the ship yourself.
It's just like with relationships with people. Like when you first meet someone, you don't really know them, you don't really trust them, so you're not going to share everything. You're not going to lean on them and all that and be like, hey, you want to go out to eat a week from now? A week comes up, hey, are we still good? Or
you have to check to make sure they're actually going to come, right?
You're going to do this, right?
But here's the thing, is that God's never going to leave you hanging.
Exactly.
And that God's never going to break that trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty amazing. And you got to think, you want to talk about trusting God. Noah built a boat with no way to steer it. No mast, no tiller in the back. He didn't have a rudder. He had no way to steer a boat.
Never seen rain.
He'd never seen rain before. But I'm saying, like, not only did you build something called a boat that you'd never witnessed before, or an ark that you'd never witnessed before. It also
had no use for.
Water's going to come out everywhere. You've never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, God, I believe you. And then he gets in the boat, and it doesn't say, it says he did all that the Lord commanded him. It doesn't say Noah said, but God, this is a big thing. How do I control it?
Yeah.
Because God, he already trusted God. He said, God, you control it. You're going to drop me wherever you want me to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that we should be with God. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that covers all of our stuff, really.
Good. You know what that means?
It's time to wrap up.
It means I can go to bed.
And have iced coffees.
And have an iced coffee. I meant to talk about iced coffee. We're going to have to write that down.
Okay. I'll make a note for next time.
Yeah.
On my handy dandy notebook.
It's the world's easiest iced coffee recipe. But I don't want it at the very end. I want it somewhere where it's valuable.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll be back Monday with the More God Less Me podcast, so definitely check that out. If you don't know about our other stuff that we're doing, we have shorts, reels, or TikToks, whatever you call them.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're posted once a day currently.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the platforms that you watch short-form video content on, we're there. You can find us at More God Less Me. We're trying to put out YouTube videos on a regular basis. We're trying to do all that we can to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we hope that you'll help us and support us in doing so. We thank you for your time.
Yes.
And
thank you for coming along
on this long, winding adventure.
You never know what you're going to get. You're going to have a little bit of funny stuff. We're going to have a little bit of talk about God and a lot of random.
Well, the goal originally was not to go deep into the God stuff.
I know, but it
flows so
time.
easy. It just flows so easy because God is in everything.
Yes.
And if we didn't have God in this podcast, it'd be meaningless.
Exactly.
And the way to make the meaning in this podcast is to have God. And if you've not listened to that episode of the More God Less Me podcast, I think it's like episode 3. I don't remember. But you can definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to end it now.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
And God bless.
God bless.